government of Trans Nzoia. Knowing that even you guys one day, because after 10 years, the governor will become something else. I don't know what they're planning with Sifuna. But after 10 years, you will not be working for the governor. Do you want to be treated in a similar manner?
Yeah, but they don't look like they have a plan.
It's very unfair, Honorable Chair, but I may demonstrate that
the officer is being simplistic. There are people who used to work in the office of the former governor. Weren't they entitled to gratuity? Was that a legal entitlement?
They were.
Yes, they were entitled to gratuity.
Yeah.
The date of their invoice is 9th of June, 2021. Of course, the governor was not in office. What is wrong in terms of prioritization of everything else that you must do? Would it be Governor, and I don't know why your officer is not getting this point, because even him one day will be demanding gratuity.
Mr. Chairman,
why should it take 4 years?
We get the point. The issue majorly is this, that money is deducted from an employee. This money is supposed to be remitted somewhere for payment of gratuity when they retire. The unfortunate bit is that money is not remitted. It wasn't. That's why now we're making a budget provision for it to pay. Because the money was not remitted, they're paid. But there is no money at the pension fund to pay them.
Whose responsibility was it to do the remittance? Because, again, control of budget, when salaries are requisitioned, isn't there a provision for that portion that ought to go into gratuity?
Thank you, Chair. When salaries are requisitioned, they are requisitioned as growth.
Committed, they left their professions. Maybe some of them were in Ngao like you. They came to work for the county, only to be told at the 11th hour that, I am sorry, someone misallocated your money, so we can't help you. And the person who misallocated your money, there's nothing you are doing about them. So we're just telling that employee former employee, wait until the day we have a budget. Let's put ourselves in their shoes.
Mr. Chairman, it is unfortunate because if you are paying this money, the expectations, because it's not your responsibility to follow where the money has gone. Normally it happens to you at the time you've retired and you want to get your gratuity, and it's not there. So really, it is unfortunate. I am alive to that, and that's why in my regime, we remit this money as we pay salaries. We do not have any arrears. We are talking about a problem with an inheritor. I know you're going to tell me that governments are permanent and I must not take responsibility. That's why I'm not running away from it. I've taken it upon myself. I've not even asked where the money is. We're making a budget provision to pay this money, as then we go check where the money that was deducted went. Of course, the argument has always been that they were paying net salaries, and therefore there was no money that was being deducted to be remitted anywhere. So the money was not lost. Yeah, that's the debate that we've been happy to say. Instead of engaging in that debate and people are suffering out there, can we just look for money, put the budget and pay? And from 2024, actually we've been paying. We've been paying these people.
So then what commitment are you making? Because it cannot be we are looking for a budget. Out of your 2.569 billion, can't you prioritize this 52 million?
Mr. Chairman, I'll talk about 98 million, which was a variance, and the list...
No. I've reduced it. Out of that 98, 52 million relates to 2 invoices.
Yes.
Out of the 98.
Can we give a commitment that we're going to give it a priority? When we do our supplementary budget.
Because gratuity means you know that your governor is going home, but you are confident that when the new government takes office, you will get something like, is it 31%, depending on the scheme. So this has nothing to do with lap fund or lap trust. This is an internal inefficiency. And I wish you would have met the people I've met who are complaining about these habits, and that's why I must insist that this must be separated from even the other lap fund or long-standing historical issues, because it's about individuals, human beings who are suffering for a mistake that was not of their making. Senator Charargei.
I think, Chair, what we are saying is that looking at this issue of employees' benefits, and even with the pending bill, it is very important, because I know if we were to bring breakdown of the pending bills of 2.5 billion that has been provided here, you'll find there are so many people and businesses, people in Trans Nzoia County who are being owed money, and it means a lot to them, Chair. Chair, what I wanted to say, and I think if the governor had provided the extract of the budget, we would not be shooting in the dark, because we are now using his word to say he partially allocated, for example, on the 98 million or even 52 million that we have alluded to the staff. So, Chair, I think let us not gloss over this issue of pending bills or trade payables, because it is what is eating counties. And we have situations, Chair, where fictitious payments have been paid by some entities. So we cannot just close. And finally, Chair, it would be prudent in future that this schedule of employees should not only be a one line of saying people work with the governor's office, cry to owe to other staff. Who are these other staff? And this a lot of millions of shillings, is 52 million shillings, Chair. So we need to put the name to the money, so that that money and accountability can be put into focus, because this is a public money that must be held into account. So the issue of gratuity, Chair, I don't think it is a privilege to any person. They must be paid as a matter of right that has been provided legally. Chair, on the pending bills of 2.5 billion, 2.56 billion, Chair, I recommend that the county must provide us with a payment plan. I am aware the control of budget is here. Provide with us who are these people. We have seen situations where people have 100,000, 200,000, 50,000 Kenya shillings have been owed. It means a lot to them, Chair. And that is why, you know, I had some people saying the other day, the Nyota program giving people 22,000, 50,000 is small money. But there are some counties who they owe up to 20,000, 50,000, Chair. So, Governor, as you go back, this 2.5 billion belongs to Kenyans, and there is no option. You must pay. You must pay. And it is good you are friends with Sifuna. Sifuna should advise you to pay. I think that would be the easiest way. If you want us, and maybe in Luya language, so that this thing can be...
Order, Senator.
Mr. Chairman,
order.
I can respond in Luya.
No. I know of the country when it gets to 1:30, the only thing people are hearing is a smell of something. So I think let's get back to the English, otherwise we'll start thinking about lunch.
Yeah, I think, Chair, we cannot flog this maybe further, but you need to give some direction. We've given this issue of pending bills a lot of prominence because it's an important thing. I remember one time some 9 senators, me included, jumped to the former CS's office, Ukuria Tan, to try and advise him to stop all the pending bills and when they were incurred. And number 3, as Senator Charargei is saying, a payment plan. For the 450 million, maybe this financial year, when else will the other money be paid? Then we try to follow through for that payment to be done.
Fine, so I subscribe to that, but the only thing that will direct immediately is the control of budget. Those first 2 items, gratuity to county officers attached to the governor's office, they are older than 3 years because they are 2021. They're actually 4 years old. It is the recommendation of this committee that the control of budget does not approve any requisition until those gratuities that are older than 4 years, a payment plan is put in place or they are settled. It is only 52 million. I do not think it will cripple the entity. So in the other requests for detailed payment plans, I think when you are writing our reports, we'll subject it to the 60-day implementation period, and the auditor will advise. But then again, auditor, this query was not properly captured, so it looks as if the Senate is the one doing the audit. If it was well done, we would be out of that matter. So let's proceed to the matter of deposits and retentions. Deposits and retentions, auditor, you confirmed that now you have a schedule.
Yes, I confirm we have a schedule. And likewise, we have also the aging analysis, and we have also confirmed the same amount is in the bank.
So, Governor, you see why I was asking how the exit meeting was done. If on 18th December, the auditor reported that he didn't have a schedule, and today on 29th of January, he's telling us he has a schedule, we are wondering where is the problem?
Mr. Chairman, during the exit meeting, of course, the auditor gives us the issue that they are flagged out. And before they do the letter, we are given some time to respond, to provide documents to support some of those issues that have been raised before they do the final letter. That's the time when we provide some of this information. So we don't provide them during the exit meeting. But I must admit, of course, after the exit meeting, some officers don't provide that information until when it's late.
The next one is inaccuracies in the statement of cash flows. Again, the auditor, you are telling us that this has now been addressed?
Yes, Chair. What the client provided, or what the difference regarded to, was related to assets which did not require cash outflow, either donations or issues like depreciation and such, which were being written back. So yes, I can confirm that the 144 million has now been addressed.
So then, under the financial statements, you had 4 qualifying issues. In your view, of course, the opinion can't change. But are the financial statements still qualified?
Chair, given I think the trade payables, which, as you mentioned, is almost a third of the budget, we don't seem to have conclusively can confirm that the actual pending bill is 2.5 because the verification process is still ongoing, and this was the situation as at 18th December when the certificate was issued. So it would still be qualified as of to date, given that one issue seems to still be not adequately addressed.
Senator Sifuna?
Chair, there's a point you made one time about county entities fearing getting unqualified reports. I don't know what argument you had advanced that time, but it appears, Governor, that your team simply didn't want to get an unqualified report.
This one is unqualified, Mr. Chairman.
No.
If you look at it.
If you had addressed all those issues, if you had addressed all those issues in December, there would have been a different opinion. Chair, what was your argument for people not wanting unqualified reports?
They didn't want attention to be on them, particularly the technicians. Because when you have an unqualified opinion, we come with a very cynical view. But I also take a very cynical view of this report. And I must, this one, Auditor General, you must do a more rigorous job. It cannot be this committee to ask you why you didn't ask this question. And doing a rigorous job is not about persecution or anything. It's about helping the entity to improve their practices. So I don't want us to poke holes in the report of the Auditor General. Let's take it as it is. But now let's go to the other aspects of lawfulness and effectiveness.
For us, we've, as a county, we are determined to have unqualified reports. And actually had agreed that any chief officer with any audit query, they'll just go home. And now we have advertised all the vacancies because they are audit queries. So some they just want to play around with. What they want to kufanya interview tena because of this issue that have been raised in the audit.
So one standard recommendation we'll make on all the 4 issues that you have attempted to explain. We'll be asking the governor to take administrative action on the officers who did not provide the documents at the time of audit, and we'll also be invoking the provisions of Section 62 of the Public Audit Act, which criminalizes that kind of practice. So even though you have explained it, but there has to be some consequences. The senior counsel, the only man in this room who has been president of something, can go on record.
Yes, Chairman, my name is Kongo Mogeni, Senator of Nyamira and a member of this committee. Thank you.
Karibu.
I never went on record. I just
Oh.
commented on
Oh
something.
yeah, please.
For those of us who doesn't know, my name is Senator Mwenda Kataya, more fire, Maraganedi County member of this committee.
Karibu. Informally, we call him the Assistant Deputy President because he's a friend to our friend, the Professor. So let's go to the other section on lawfulness and effectiveness in use of public resources. I think this is the first report I'm seeing where the auditor has not queried, the auditor has not say unsupported expenditure, irregular procurement. It is looking too good to be true. But let's go to what is before us. Governor, I know you're also surprised. Too good to be true.
Chair, if I may mention, all the 4 issues actually fall under unsupported.
No, auditor, these are bookkeeping things. Fine, let's proceed.
Yeah.
Lawfulness.
For lawfulness, what I would say, actually, the governor has concentrated on prior projects or projects started earlier on. So the procurement issues might not be new. They are a bit aged. So.
Fine, let's just go point by point. Failure to appoint a steering committee for migration to accrual reporting. Governor, you are cited by the National Treasury. We had a meeting with them 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they indicated that you had not established this committee. Has it been established? And if yes, when was it established? Steering committee for migration to accrual reporting.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I want to confirm that the steering committee has been appointed in place and it has held one meeting. The members were appointed on 27th of November, 2025. That's under Appendix 4A on page 40 of our document.
Auditor General, on 27th of November 2025, you had not exited the county. How come you reported that they failed to appoint the steering committee?
That evidence was not provided. However, we were also looking at financial statements up to that 5th of June 2025. So I believe these are some of the actions happening as a result of our audit reports, either the management letter or the preliminary reports that we had given to the county. Thank you, Chair.
When were they supposed to establish them? What was the cutoff?
The letter from Treasury was on 1st of April 2025. 14th. Yeah, 14th of April. So anytime, maybe April, May, June.
So we shall recommend the governor takes administrative action on the responsible officer who was supposed to establish this, because even though it has been done late. It ought to have been in place earlier to help in things like depreciations, amortization, liabilities, and all these things that are coming in with accrual accounting. Now, the failure to establish the committee, did it have a bearing on the financial statements or on financial reporting? OAG?
Yes, actually the things we are struggling with, including the pending bills, as the chief officer mentioned, that the mandate of this committee is on receivables and payables. So yes, they do have a bearing on the financial statements. Thank you, Chair.
So let's go through the statements and see that implication. The next one was on compliance with 1/3 basic salary rule. I think this we can keep in view because we understand that there could even be new NHIF rates. And the chair of the Delegated Legislation Committee has just walked out. We wanted to find out whether he has subjected those rates to public participation. So it looks like this problem will persist as long as we keep changing the tax regime for the employed. I hope we can get oil so that we stop raiding people's pockets. Persons with disability, non-compliance with employment requirements. You are at 1% against a target of 5%. Is this an improvement or you are regressing?
Just maintain, Mr. Chairman. And we've not been carrying out recruitment of late because of matters of wage bill. But we give a commitment that once we advertise, because we are going to employ nurses in due course, we'll encourage people, persons with disabilities to apply. Mr. Chairman, they have to apply first. If they don't apply, then they cannot be considered.
I think you are giving us a dangerous and a bit insensitive answer, because this law, we passed it just last year in 2025. So perhaps a better approach would be to say that you will progressively implement the provisions of that law. I think if we argue that they are not applying, then it means that even the law is not applicable. This was Senator Crystal Asige's bill, which we all passed, and I think everyone celebrated. And I believe, I don't know whether there were certain transitional clauses in it, but I think a better approach would be a progressive implementation. I don't know, Senator Morgan.
Though I think the governor is right, they must first apply. You see, if you don't apply for employment, you will not be employed. I think his response.
But between the 2025 when we passed the law and today, has there been an opportunity for them to apply?
We haven't advertised any positions. As I say, we're going to apply to advertise for nurses. And when they apply, we'll make a provision of 5%. But they must apply for those slots for them to be considered, for the 5%. Yeah.
Lazy does, in your response, you're saying you made an advert and only very few applied. Is that factual or is just a generic statement?
Chair.
Because I'm looking at his response, and he says very few applied, and those who applied did not meet the minimum requirements.
No, this thing is a consumer requirement. We've been applying even before this law came into place. No, we are employing revenue officers, economists, and they did not apply. I think the most important thing for me from where I sit is to give consideration in terms of requirements. If maybe it's a D+ for everybody, can you make it maybe a D-? Because of the challenge they go through even to get that D+, not like people who are able.
Chair, through you, Governor, we have previously rejected this argument that somehow certain people don't apply for positions. I remember when we were discussing this issue of ethnic balance, you cannot tell me that a Kikuyu staying in Kitale will refuse to apply for a job, and then there's a colleague of yours who came and told us that people from outside that county do not apply for jobs. You and me as political leaders know what exactly is happening in our counties, because there are people who think certain counties belong to certain people, so that if you come from Bungoma, you can't apply for a job in Trans Nzoia. They will tell you, nyinyi muko na yenu. Especially because of the special nature of PWDs. I agree with you. This is an affirmative action measure, so that there have to be deliberate efforts to be able to get them to even apply. It is not something you just say they don't apply. We have rejected that argument here. And if you ask these senators here, actually Kenyans want to work. We are asked for jobs every day. They send me messages in the thousands saying, I just want to come even if I'm going to sweep your office. So it is not possible that you can say people don't apply. If you look at recruitments that happen at the national level, you are looking for 20 people, you get 50,000 applications. So, Governor, that argument that people don't apply for jobs, here we really don't agree with such arguments.
Maybe let's get all of this first so that you can respond at once.
Two things, Governor. One, this is a constitutional obligation. So, as Senator Sifuna has said that. Number two, out of 3,661, 51 employees are people living with disability. My question to the governor, how many people, including your partisan staff, have you employed, including casual employees? And finally, I thought in any advert, even if you open online or any, there always a red line that says PWDs and youth and women are encouraged to apply. So I thought that is how you encourage. Senior counsel, it is not that they refuse to apply. For some of us who have interacted with the officials from PWD Council, they even have their own ID if you have doubt. So, Chair, I agree with Senator Sifuna that argument is neither here nor there. Or, Governor, maybe it's courtesy of your normal would be the essence.
Order. I think one of the things, maybe Governor, actually, you're the one who's around mid or later in 2025. One of the things we ought to do is to give it some time and do a legislative impact assessment. But anyway, I think in your view, even if we give it time, perhaps nothing will change.
Mr. Chairman, people with disabilities are encouraged to apply. But how do you enforce that encouragement? Other than putting the paper that maybe 3/4 of them haven't read that are being encouraged. That provision must be reserved for people with disabilities, and you must fill it. If they don't apply, you look for them and ensure that they...
Let me just ask you a question.
Yes.
When you put out an advert as the county government of Trans Nzoia, do you make it accessible to PWDs? Like, for instance, a blind person, how do you make sure they can see that ad? Because we have to think about these things in terms of access, and I wish Crystal was here today, because many of us who are able-bodied do not actually see the challenges of these people. So we must think about it as a country, because...
What we do, Mr. Chairman, no, people living with disabilities in Trans Nzoia have got an organization.
Order, Governor, and order members
to provide PWD that they are not qualified. I can bring him 100.
We cannot have a conversation about they, because then that implies them versus us.
Yes.
You know, that the tone of that conversation is even wrong. So,
there's a point I think we can carry. What Governor is saying is we consider amending the law to reduce the minimum qualifications for PWDs, which I think makes a lot of sense. If you want to recruit somebody with a minimum D+, for PWD, it should be D, because I think we're getting data which will help us, showing that most of our PWDs don't attain the minimum requirements, so they are knocked off at maybe shortlisting.
Senior counsel, where?
Just a minute.
yeah, let's
Just a minute. You know, we're having a conversation this side and that side, and some of the information that comes here can get input into our report, and we recommend that we amend the law further so that we create lesser stringent qualifications for PWDs. And from where I'm sitting, makes a lot of sense.
I think then that comes back to us, because we are the ones who passed this law last year. But this committee, of course, we can make recommendations, but as at now, we are dealing with the law as it is. Senator Ombua, then Charargei, then we close this and move.
Thank you, Chair. One, I think it should never go on record that this committee sat and entertained a conversation that seems to be profiling PWDs. I mean, that should never happen. Chair, the thing to consider is exactly what Senior Counsel is saying. And the ball is here. It's in our court. Because you see, Chair, without appearing to speak for the governor, the governor is telling you his reality. That is his reality on the ground. That is the challenge that he is facing on the ground. For us, we are guided by the law, which may not apply as it should in every county in this country. So, Chair, as I said in the morning, these conversations also give us opportunities to think through legislations that we have passed. So if the reality in Trans Nzoia is that this category of people are not applying because perhaps the threshold is beyond what they have. What can we do? Is that replicated in other counties? And if that is the case, what can be done to address the situation? I think.
But yeah, just for my own curiosity, who set the law that somebody must have a D+ for you to be a driver, for example? You know, I've always wondered. We have VTCs training people, mechanics, drivers, but when it comes to our adverts, we say you must have a D+ from 4. I don't know D+. Where is that law? Legal counsel. You may think there's no law like that. You can just decide people who are supposed to work in the environment, sweepers, come with a Form 4 certificate or with a Class 8 certificate, and they're employed. We'll be able to get PWDs from that.
Chair, with your indulgence, a quick observation. I want to reject the notion that PWDs are not qualified. That's pedestrian, Chair. Because every job has a description. Even when we're hiring the IBC commissioners, any independent officers, you will always find PWD people who are qualified for those positions. Chair, I remember when we were processing the County Attorney Act, when I was chair and then, I used to be powerful, Sifuna, before you came. When I was the chair and then, one of the requirements was that we need a county attorney who is 7 years experience as a practicing advocate. Many people rejected, especially from certain parts of this country, saying you cannot get a lawyer who can come and work, for example, in a region like Mandera or somewhere in Busia. But when the law passed, there were so many advocates who applied for those positions. So it is similar argument, Chair, that we should not reduce this conversation to the qualifications of PWDs. These are affirmative decisions that the governor must give us practical solutions to this issue. Because if we just leave this room and the governor says, you know, the PWDs are not mostly qualified, I can tell you for free from my interactions as a leader in this country, there are so many PWDs people who are qualified. And by the way, they are talented in some ways that some of you might not believe. So that might not believe, Chair. So, Chair, let me rest it there. But I just wondered, because Governor has captured it very well by saying this is an affirmative position. That's why I asked a simple question. Out of these 69 employees, 51 of them are PWDs. I asked him a simple question. How many, since he came to office, including maybe even partner staff? You can say one of my partisan staff is a PWD, for example. So my question, Chair, if the governor can just answer, I know there have been a staff attrition, a few hiring. How many since he came to office that he has hired, including even his own partisan staff?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I can answer that question very fast. But you see, to say that I said that no people living with disabilities who are not qualified in Kenya is completely missing the point, and misinterpreting what I was saying. I didn't mean that. Number two, at the very senior level in the county government of Trans Nzoia, I have got a CC who is a person living with disability and is here. I have a chief officer who is on a wheelchair. How many counties are like that in this country?
I think just speak for Trans Nzoia.
Those are very, very deliberate efforts that we make for purposes of inclusion. And that's why I'm proposing that every time you say 5% is reserved for people with disabilities, can it be reserved? And will not be filled until we get people with disabilities from wherever. That can serve us better. Then it means we're going even to go down in terms of quality and wage. Mr. Chairman, I remember when I was in the provincial administration, we used to say that to be a chief, you must have a C, play. But there are counties in this republic where you couldn't get C anywhere. And there are chiefs who are employed with the KCP. They're on the payroll. The same can apply to people with disabilities. Like Honorable Sifuna was saying, in this country, how many people with visual impairment has KCS certificates? There are very, very, very few. So if you are rigid and you are saying everybody applying for this position must have these minimum qualifications, then you are going to lock out all these people, in spite of the fact that we have made provisions for them.
Now, if you, we need to close this argument. If you go by the,
maybe you can just stand. You see him.
No. It's okay.
Yeah, you can see the disability really.
No, it's okay. We don't want. Just take your seat. Just take your seat.
Honorable Chair, let me make a contribution to that very important debate. Maybe we must come from a point of some information. I come from a village. We are 4, and we sit as a community. 3 of them never went beyond class 8. And when the jobs are advertised, the minimum requirement cuts across. I think, Honorable Chair, with a lot of respect, it is incumbent to this Honorable House to come with a favorable law, considering the type of problems that people with disability go through. A lot of the ceiling is just too tight for the people with disability to break. So the minimum requirement is where the
in the 2025 Crystal Asige law, in your assessment as a person living with disability, what is the deficiency?
It is the best law for us people with disability, but I don't think it considered all the parameters that needed to be considered.
If we tasked you to advise us on the amendments that should be made, because we have done our bit as Parliament, just last year in 2025, we passed a law, so that we are not just talking. We are the ones who write the laws. You are the one living with that reality. Would you be willing to do so?
The law is very progressive, and I am willing to give meat to that law, together with the rest that are outside.
Fine. So let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. For now, this committee, our benchmark is a law as it is, and if it is not fulfilled, there are offences in the Act, and it is those offences that we'll refer to. Even though Senator Charargei, you remember 2-3 days ago, the Star newspaper had a headline, which would imply that 90% of men in Nairobi are living with a disability. So this conversation might apply to you.
I think, Chair, that question should be answered properly by the area senator. If it was a matter of Nandi, I can have a local standby. But Sifuna is doing badly. We cannot account.
Chair, you know, it is these people who come from up country are the ones who are messing up the statistics in Europe. These ones from Nandi.
They are the majority of your voters.
Okay.
Speak for your men.
Speak for your men.
I think
don't run away from responsibility.
Those of us who are in the 1%, let us now proceed. Fine. So I think there's one of the Alcoholic Control Fund. We have seen the written responses, some correspondences with a view to establishment of regulation. Let's keep that in view. The procurement capacity building levy. This one is, we are, as senators, we are struggling to understand how it works, but we'd be happy to get the view of the governor as a person with the boots on the ground. I see it coming as an audit query in almost every other county. 0.03% of all signed contracts should be put aside somewhere for capacity building. Trans Nzoia is not doing it. Why aren't you doing it, Governor?
Mr. Chairman, we've given our reasons, and very many of them, and I think most of them cut across the...
We could take your written responses, but allow you to highlight the critical areas.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, the reasons for non-deduction and remittance of the public procurement capacity building levy include: 1, absence of system-based controls and configuration. Unlike established statutory deductions such as withholding tax and retention, if MIS has not yet been configured to automatically flag, calculate, or deduct the 0.03% capacity building levy. In the absence of automated system logic, the platform processes payments to completion without triggering an alert for the missing deduction, thereby bypassing standard electronic controls.
Just a minute. It's a detailed response.
At page 49.
Page 49. And I think you have given the reasons why.
Yes.
What was of concern to this committee when we are reviewing this? We are asking ourselves, this 0.03%. That is deducted from all your procurement contracts in Trans Nzoia.
Amount of money.
How does it, assuming you are deducting it, you are not deducting it, but assuming you are deducting it, how do you expect to get it back in terms of value, in terms of capacity building? Is that something that your procurement people have advised you on? Because we are also asking ourselves, this is another tax. If this country has a 4 trillion budget, and we assume that 1 trillion are procurement contracts, then this fund would have automatically 3 billion in a year, which is quite big. It's as big as a universal service fund. How do you anticipate that you're getting value back, or will use it to build the railway to Malaba?
No, in fact, Chair, this is a point where Charargei can help us, because his friends are very keen to impose all sorts of levies everywhere. But even for us at the party, it was an audit query at this financial year that we are supposed to remit this, is it called a levy? And I think the operational period was beginning of November of 2024, I think. And that is why many of us were caught unawares. I think the argument should be that then the Public Procurement Oversight Authority uses this fund to be able to grow the capacity of procurement professionals within these institutions. There's actually no other justification, and we don't know where to send this money. Like the governor has said here, these other integrated levies are easy to deduct because there's already a system and you know where the money is going. For this one, only Charargei can tell us where is this money, why is it necessary for this levy to exist.
No, I must protect Senator Charargei. He has
But
nothing.
Chair, you never protect me.
He has nothing.
He has gone through the entire list of my friends this afternoon. I've only mentioned once.
Chair, it is good I have friends who run this country. Number two, our journey to Singapore will involve a lot of sacrifice. You need to read a book by Liu Q that's from the third to first world.
Chair, you can't allow Singapore to come here. Please.
I know the reason why Singapore is mad.
Don't
You're
allow
not campaigning. I'm just answering. What
You are crawling, you have not started walking. So when you reach
Singapore, don't allow you to come here.
Let's come back.
And you know, Chair, this Charargei has been very active in those empowerment programs. Maybe the part of that money funds are those empowerment.
Yeah, you need now to protect me.
Let me protect Senator Charargei. Governor, I think maybe going back to the critical point is that if this is coming off your procurement, it's really coming from the money that the senator sent to the county.
Yeah.
It is coming 0.3% is coming back to the center. So do you have visibility on what it is going to do to strengthen the supply chain in the county?
No, we don't have. And then number two, of course, many of our officers in this line are professionals. They're trained. So when you go maybe for one of training under this levy, how often will you be going for these trainings, and are they relevant? Because at the end of the day, really, it's going to be a lot of money, but we don't know to what use the money is going to go to. But then when you are told it's a levy that you are supposed to pay, if you don't, there'll be an audit query. We start complying without really asking ourselves, what is this money going to be used for? And then the case, even if I asked, what's going to be done, Madam Chairman?
No,
Governor,
asking is not futile, because we are fortunate. In this committee, we have the chair of the Delegated Legislation Committee of the Senate, a very powerful gentleman called Senator Gataya. I don't know, Senator Gataya, this was introduced through Legal Notice 206 of the Levy Order 2023. In my understanding of statutory instruments, shouldn't these have been subjected to this parliamentary approval?
Definitely. I don't know. I have not been able to go through the issue that is in question, but of course that's the requirement. Anything that is supposed to be to be. I am saying, Chair, let me just make some reference and give some correct.
Okay. Yeah. So we need to query whether the procurement capacity building levy was subjected to the provisions of the Statutory Instruments Act. Because any tariff, any levy, any order, any bylaw, regulations, etc., are supposed to be processed through
the position, Honorable Chair. Actually, we are trying to empower the county assemblies to that effect. We have been going around the county assemblies to enrich them with that kind of information, because we have a lot of county assemblies, the county executive, which arbitrarily has kept some regulations without following the right procedure. In the levy, anything that is supposed to touch on the people must also be subjected to those scrutiny. That is scrutiny.
Fine. So we'll take note of the challenges as cited, but we, as Parliament, will also reflect on whether this levy is lawful and whether it is.
Chair, you see, there's a point that you raise which is getting lost. The point of the Senate sending money to counties, and then through a regulation, part of that money goes back to the center. And there is no reverse gear. There's no way of now that money finding its way back to the county to do exactly what the regulations say it should do, the building of capacity. So the people of Trans Nzoia will be told that they got this X amount of money in a financial year, but a part of that money came back to the center and it doesn't find its way back to
It goes to the center auditor. Where does it land? Do you audit that man when it goes to the center?
Which fund does it go to?
Yes.
It should, yeah, it's collected at e-citizen, and we.
Well, e-citizen ni kikapu ya kama ya sadaka. But where does it go to eventually? It should go to, a levy should go to a fund. Fuel levy goes to RMLF. Railway levy goes to relevant fund. So I think, members, let's do some background on this so that we can also protect county governments from predatory practices, if this is the case.
Chair, you direct the chair delegated to provide us with the information on this instrument.
Yes, the clerks of two committees will cross-reference to confirm whether it was approved, and if it was not approved by Parliament, then we must demand that it comes back.
Well, Madam Chair, I will have to instruct my secretary to go into that one and find out whether those regulations were subjected to the relevant scrutiny.
Okay. It was actually an order. It was not even a regulation. I mean, can we be collecting taxes through orders? You know, we have donated a lot of powers to our cabinet secretaries, and it was a levy order, not even a regulation.
There's an arrangement that Charargei is forcing you into, and it is the basis of all these problems.
Which arrangement? You know, I always arrange good things for the chair.
As
a colleague, not even eating lunch together. So,
you
chair,
see, the Auditor General, when you don't query serious things, now we have to end up in this conversation.
Yes. You order expansion of that arrangement by arrangement.
Yeah, I don't think the answer got it. Lack of Climate Change Fund Steering Committee, we are told that has now been put in place.
Yes, we got a correspondence on the secretary, even though I note that the one on members is not attached, but we probably can.
I think to avoid wasting time on that, because without this, maybe even the flock arrangements will not
the chair is there, the committee is there, Mr. Chairman, and I chair the committee.
Fine, let's progress. Yeah. Let's go to road maintenance. Miteitei Virginia Road, Kwanza K Ward. The problem there was that your BQs was for 3.5 meters. You only deliver 2.5 meters. You're supposed to plant 1,000 trees. You never planted any trees. Governor, who ate the trees that were supposed to be planted on this road?
Is that a written response, Mr. Chairman? There was supposed to be 100 seedlings. So the specified 100 seedlings were delivered and received in accordance with the procurement procedures. However, because of unfavorable weather conditions, planting was delayed. The seedlings are currently stored at the roads and manufacture yard and will be planted once the weather permits, at the onset of rains, of course.
Were they 100 or 1,000?
Men were they? 1,000 trees.
The auditor cited 1,000. You are talking of 100.
1,000 trees.
1,000.
There's a typo there.
So, Governor?
1,000.
It's supposed to be 1,000 trees.
Yes, 1,000 seedlings. It's a typo in the response.
What about the width? From 3.5 to 2.5?
The response is that encroachment along the road reserve affected the available carriageway width. To address this, the department will engage in public sensitization and coordinate with the county surveyor to demarcate road reserves for future purposes. Some people have actually constructed on the road reserve and it becomes very difficult even to open up this road.
So, OAG, as you had said, keep this in view because the amounts you have cited is 120,000, 1.9 million. Of course, that amount put together can build an ECD classroom, so it's not frivolous, but keep it in view so that in the implementation period you can inform us. By the time we are coming back, the rains will have come. Let's see whether we'll have the same story from the government. And I think that applies to Kisawai, Chepui, Mima Junction Road. They were the same issues.
Yes,
just
true,
that
Chair.
the number of trees were different.
250.
Let's go to Kenyatta Stadium, Rehabilitation and Modernization Phase 1A. This one we had agreed we needed to spend some time on. Read your finding.
Thank you, Chair. Delayed completion of Kenyatta Stadium Rehabilitation and Modernization Phase 1A. Review of procurement documents provided for audit revealed that the Department of Gender contracted for proposed rehabilitation and modernization of Kenyatta Stadium Phase 1A, Kitare, at a cost of Kenya shillings 657,305,895 on 1st of February 2023 for a period of 640 days. The amount already paid to the contractor as at 30th June 2025 was Kenya shillings 425,307,880, or about 65% of the total contract sum. The provided performance bond expired on 31st January 2025 and had not been renewed as at the time of audit. Rehabilitation and modernization works are still ongoing despite the expiry of the contract period. No evidence of request for variation or extension of the contract period was provided for audit. Physical inspection on 12 June 2025 revealed that works were ongoing. However, there was a dispute on the boundary beacons which was yet to be resolved and unauthorized occupation had taken place. In the circumstances, the value for money on expenditure incurred on the rehabilitation and modernization of the stadium project has not yet been realized. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, your response?
Mr. Chairman, our management response. The contract for the rehabilitation and modernization of Kenyatta Stadium, Phase 1A, was awarded on 1st February 2023 at the contract sum of Kenya shillings 657,305,895 for a duration of 730 days, initially set to end on 28th February 2025. The project is currently at 7% complete. An extension of time was granted on 16 December 2025 and a revised completion date from 1st November 2025 to 28th February 2026. The contractor accordingly renewed the performance bond expiring 28th February 2026. It's attached. A section of the stadium that was recovered, but later the people who had illegally occupied went to court and the matter is pending in court. However, beacons on undisputed areas have been placed and the contractor instructed to proceed with construction of the perimeter wall. Mr. Chairman, we have attached our evidence under appendices 1A, 11A, 11B, 11C, 11D, running from page 60 all the way to page 71.
Okay, so OAG, you had queried a valid contract. The governor has submitted an extension of time. Does that address that concern?
Yes, it does, as well as the performance bond, both which have been renewed in December 2025. Thank you.
And Governor, what is the financial implication of this extension?
We are yet to do the calculations. Some of the delays were caused by us, especially the delay in handing over the site, and some of the delays actually were occasioned by the contractor himself. So when they put in the request for variation, is when they're going to have these discussions. But so far they haven't.
So this is something ongoing, even as you speak, works is ongoing on the ground?
Yes, the contractor is on site.
It means it has moved from the initial 67%. It is now at...
It's about 72% now.
About 72%?
Yes.
So it's work in progress?
Actually, the last extension we gave him was on agreement that he completes the works by the end of next month, end of February.
Okay. Honorable members, considering that it's work in progress, Senator?
Yeah, just a small clarification. I see a variance in the project duration. The auditor is talking about 640 days. The governor is talking about 730 days. Which day do we go with?
The tender document had a problem. In words, they'd written 700 and what was in words? In words, it's 730, but in numerics, it was 640. So we agree that we go with what's written, the alphabet one.
Clarification on
Senator?
this issue of the section of the stadium that had been recovered. What size of it, and you didn't attach any proof that is in a court of law?
The matter actually is in court. Huh? The proceedings?
Are there any proceedings? I can see only up to pictorial evidence of Kenya.
We can provide that.
Is it a matter that EACC was also involved, or was EACC involved on this matter, on the recovery proceedings of the land?
No.
No, also it was the county government that moved to court to recover.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe, Chair, if during report writing you can get the citation of court matter, then it will put to the issue. So finally, when I have seen in your comment, you have instructed of the perimeter wall and the matter is in court. Do these people who you are taken to court disturbing the contractor, or they have ceded ground and they have allowed the contractor to do the job?
Some have not. That's why we are saying on the portions where there's no matter in court, the contractor can proceed. But the biggest challenge now we have is that there is a highway from Gitale going to Swam. That when we do measurement of the stadium, actually that road is right in the middle of the stadium. And that's what has caused a bit of challenges in terms of putting up a perimeter wall. Where do we put it? Do we just put it on the road? And that road is also new, it's yet to be opened. It has been completed, but it's right in the middle of the stadium. So those are some of the challenges that we are facing. Because when you set aside public space for a particular purpose and you don't use it, then you encourage a lot of encroachments. So people have come in, like people who went to court. Actually, some of them had put up permanent buildings on the stadium land. So what we were working was just actually the land that was just available. For the stands and for the playing area and maybe for the dais, but for the other utilities, we're going to have a challenge even going into the future.
Okay, members,
I think we should visit this project.
We could visit, but generally, from an accounting and audit perspective, since it's work in progress, and I'm assuming that there are tracks and works going on right now, we just keep the matter in view. The auditor will give us a further update in a period of 60 days. Unless there's any other observation, we can proceed. to the multi-story business complex. Again, 874 million. Read your finding, and then we consider the governor's response.